And of course, it's Giving Tuesday, so I am super excited that we have the opportunity to speak with the leaders of a couple of organizations that are doing wonderful things throughout Chicagoland who need our help to do even more. I want to go ahead and bring in Susanna Wickham, the new president and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago, to talk about what they have going on. It's a busy time for you all.
It sure is. This is the busiest week of the year and a really busy season, but it's so much fun.
Yeah. So you had a big event at Navy Pier yesterday, right?
Well, yesterday we told the kids that they are going to be the first kids in Chicago to see the Navy Pier Winter Wonderfest. It opens to the public on Friday. On Thursday, they're going to get an exclusive preview and get to go on the rides as many times as they want. It'll be 125 kids in a space meant for thousands. So it's really special.
Love it, love it, love it. And then you have a club's wish list. Tell me about that.
So every year we gather holiday gifts for the kids at all of our clubs. We gather thousands of gifts, and they're usually donated by caring companies, individuals, people who might donate gifts to a particular club. And we look for gifts about $25 or $35 in value, and we like to make sure every kid gets at least one gift. But what happens is usually we don't get everything we need and we have to buy it. And that comes out of our operating budget, but we do it anyway. And there are a lot of things in the holiday season that we wind up having to buy. So we decided this year we would just ask for those items and we would let people know. So for instance, there are families that come to us and maybe nobody in the family has a gift. And our club directors will keep a stash of items like gloves and hats, cold weather items to give to family members, not just the kids, because there are so many people in need right now. But our wish list, we decided to treat it really expansively and not just the gifts that we give kids, but things that we need at our clubs. So you'll see on there that we need computers. And so someone could buy a computer for the club. And we even need a new roof on one of our buildings. We thought, why not let people know what we need? You never know what can happen.
Yeah, put it out there in the atmosphere. I'm sure someone can come through. You all support 15,000 youth. And this Giving Tuesday is just such it's one piece of the pie to all of the things that you all do throughout the year.
That's right. And we used to receive a good amount of funding from the government, and that changed in the last year. We lost about a third of our funding. And so we really are turning to our supporters and asking them to help us close as much of the gap as possible so that we can continue to serve the needs of the kids that come to us. What many people don't know is that there are parts of Chicago where there are not a lot of resources. There aren't places to go after school that are free and safe and warm and provide food. And that's what we are for the youth of Chicago. And the kids who come to us, I know you know this because you've been so involved with the organization. You emceed our Youth of the Year event. And so you see the kids that come to us, they really want a better life for themselves. They want to go to college. They want to achieve. They're ambitious. They know that there's a whole big wide world out there and they want to see it, and they come to the clubs to get those experiences. And so we want to make sure that we're here. We've been here over 100 years for kids in Chicago, and we want to make sure we're here for the next 100.
Yeah, when you meet the youth, it just makes you want to do even more. And thank you, for speaking of my time with Youth of the Year. Listening to their stories each year is always so inspiring. It's so heartwarming, and again, it makes you know that, like, okay, there's so much more as a community that we could all be doing to support them as they rise. Like the shine is already there, the light is already there, but there's so much more that all of us can do as a community to help them shine.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times people can get really down on Chicago, and they can get down on crime and all the things that are going wrong. And when I'm at the clubs every day, I see everything that's going right. I see the kids that are thinking about their futures, that are making plans, that have big dreams. And we need to be a place and continue to foster that place so that kids can explore all of those passions in a really healthy and caring environment. So it's wonderful for us to be able to offer that, and we just want to continue.
Yeah, you talked about the federal cuts that have impacted Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago. How has the demand changed in the last few years?
Yeah, I would say that Demand is definitely up. And I think that we're seeing, so the club that I'm based in is our Jordan Club, which is near United Center. And we see the teens coming in droves. And that's a wonderful thing to see. We want teens to come here. We
Mm-hmm.
try to make the space as exciting for teens as we can and as warm and as inviting. They have a dedicated space in each of our clubs. But there's certainly a lot of demand. And then we also see an ebb and flow. There's been so much happening over the last few months. We saw with people being afraid to leave their homes that
Yeah.
some of our clubs were impacted. And whenever there is community violence, we see an impact in the
Mm-hmm.
number of kids attending because people aren't always as comfortable walking around their communities. And so we're there day in and day out, and we welcome as many kids as we can every single day. And we want to make sure that we have the ability to do that well into the future and to have space for everybody who wants to come. And right now we do.
Yeah. Susanna, talk about the wide array of programs you all offer for teens in our area, because I was blown away the first time I came out and just saw like, oh, the dancers or the public speaking or, yes, of course, there's sports and just so many different things going on.
You're so right. So when kids come here, the first thing they do is every club has a game room, and there's a chance for them to kind of unwind and play any sort of game. And it could be a game of pool, which, believe it or not, there's learning that happens there because you learn how to resolve conflict. But all sorts of games. And then they can go into homework help. We have something called Power Hour, where they get support doing their homework. And then we have sports leagues throughout the year, every day, basketball, floor hockey, you name it. There are so many fun things going on that keep, because kids want to play and they want to be active, and it's healthy and wonderful for them to do that. And then we have that whole pillar based on achievement. And so we have our Youth of the Year program, and we have programs for girls and for boys, so that they can be among their peers and they can learn about being good citizens and building character. Really there is a wide breadth of things that we do here. We also have art classes, science classes, just everything fun that you can imagine, and field trips too, to get them out into the city. We have a program called Share Chicago. So we have kids next week going to see the Nutcracker at the Joffrey Ballet. We really want to make sure that all the kids that come to our clubs have the opportunity to take part in all the best things of Chicago.
I love what you all do. I love your mission, and I love seeing the kids smile. And for sure, lives are saved and changed through you all's programs. So now, if people, obviously the wish list is going on right now, but on a regular basis, if people want to donate, what do they need to do?
They go to bgcc.org, so that's short for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Chicago, and they can donate $10. That helps close the gap from lost government grants to provide one day of programming for a kid, and then on up to we need a new roof in one of our buildings.
Yeah. Do you all have some matching donations going on?
We do. We have a $25,000 match going on today, so it's a wonderful time to donate.
Okay. And besides donating, with all of the different things that you listed off, I'm sure some mentors, some people, who can physically be there are needed as well.
Yeah, and all of our clubs have club councils. So each club has its own dedicated, like a mini board of directors that are people in the community that help do all sorts of things. So for instance, last week, one of our clubs before Thanksgiving gave away 100 turkeys and Thanksgiving baskets. So there are a lot of opportunities to do things that just help support communities in need.
Yeah. I think it's so important that our youth are surrounded by positive role models. And again, I just really appreciate what you all do on a regular basis. And I advocate for anyone to help out in whatever way you can. And there are so many ways, as we've discussed, to be of service to those who are being of service to our youth in this area. Susanna, always great talking with you.
I just adore you, Anita. I thank you so much for shining a spotlight on our kids and their needs. Together, we're making Chicago a better place to live for everyone.
We can do it together. You take care. Happy holidays.
You too.
All right, 3:15 right now, everybody. I hope that your heart is a little warmer. And again, there's a little tug there to do a little bit more